Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new video. This is Hap Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. And in this video, we are looking at trigonometric ratios. Specifically, we are looking at the sine, cos, and tangent. Now, have you ever taken a calculator and then you've seen things like this here? You think it's sin, right? And then cos, and then tan. These are actually trigonometric ratios, right? So we are coming to look at just these three. There are others such as cos, tan, and then so many cosine, and yeah, this cosine, and then so many others. But I'll be looking at just these three: the sine, the cos, and then the tangent. So take note of that even as we go through this lesson. So in this diagram, and then with respect also to all that we have done so far, we have always been talking about the hypotenuse, and then the hypotenuse. But then, what of these other two sides? So they have names as well. And the names they have are relative to the angle of reference. So if I have an angle, let's say this here, if I say alpha to be my angle, then the side that is opposite to my angle becomes a side I'll call opposite. Look at this side here. You see this? This very side. That is opposite to it. You see? So I'm going to call that side my opposite because it is opposite to this angle. You see? So this side here is going to be called opposite. So if I'm calling this side my opposite, then automatically the remaining side here will then become an adjacent. So we have three sides now. The hypotenuse is always the longest side. The opposite is the side opposite to our angle we are talking about. And the remaining is just adjacent. It is adjacent using the English meanings, right? Okay, that is it. So with that said, I would want to simplify our triangle just to this. You see, so H, O, and A, right? H, O, and then A. And then this is my angle over here, the H being my hypotenuse, this here being my adjacent, and then this here being my opposite. Okay. So back to the trigonometric ratios. If I want the sine of this angle, so on your calculator, if you want to press the sine, so that is the sine of this angle, that is alpha. The sine of the angle, it is going to be what? Our opposite. So this value here, the opposite over the what? The hypotenuse. Opposite over the hypotenuse. All right, so let me just write that well. Then if I want the sine of, the cos, so the cosine of that same angle, it is going to be the adjacent over my hypotenuse. Then our last trigonometric ratio called the tangent, or we make it tan for short. So the tangent of this angle here is what? The opposite over my adjacent. Now, these trig ratios are very, very important if you are given just one side and you want to solve for the other side. Right? They are constant values that help us to what? Solve triangle problem. Now, if you would want to remember, there is an acronym for that, a very, very nice acronym you would love, right? And that is SOH CAH TOA. That is what I wrote in the front page. Acronym is what? SOH, and then CAH. The CAH is H, and then TOA. What this simply means is that if you want the sine of an angle, the sine of an angle is what? Opposite over hypotenuse, as we have seen here, opposite over hypotenuse. So SOH. The cos of an angle is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So that is what we also see here, the cos of an angle, CEH. You see? And then the tangent of an angle the t from this tan is what? Opposite over adjacent. That is what the SOH CAH TOA means, right? So now that we know these trigonometric ratios, let's see how we can apply them. You see, because just knowing it and then knowing without knowing how to apply them would mean nothing. So let's look at how we can apply these trigonometric ratios. So how do we apply it? Let's look at this very direct question here. It says, using the diagram below, we have to find the sine of our angle, the cos of our angle, and also the tangent of our angle, right? And always take note, your SOH CAH TOA should be at your fingertips. You see, so we have SOH, which is SOH, and then CAH, which is CAH, and then TOA, which is TOA. Right? So in view of that, we are coming towards find the sines, these trigonometric ratios. So for the sine of alpha, we said the sine. Before that, you would have to know which one is your adjacent, which one is your opposite, which one is your hypotenuse. Now, since it is a right angle triangle, right? So this side, the longest side, or in other words, the side facing the what? The 90 degrees is always your hypotenuse, or you can simply say the longest side. You see, it is always your hypotenuse. Now, how do we get to know our opposite, and how do we get to know our adjacent? So we look at this over here. This is the angle under consideration. Which side is facing the angle? Let's look at the side facing the angle. You see, it has a value of what? 4. So this here is your opposite. That is the side opposite it, just from the English word, as I said earlier on. So this becomes our opposite. So I can just choose to quickly write my hypotenuse here. So this is my hypotenuse. This side is my opposite. And then this side here will certainly be my what? My adjacent. So I'll just put that down so that I don't get confused. You see. So with that now, back to our SOH CAH TOA, we said the sine of an angle is equal to what? Opposite over hypotenuse. So this is the angle. Opposite, that is 4 over hypotenuse. The hypotenuse's value is what? 5. And that is all. So the sine of this angle is 4 over 5. Let's take another one. That is the cos. So the cosine or the cos of our angle CAH is adjacent over hypotenuse. Which side is the adjacent? This side is the adjacent. So 3 over the hypotenuse. Which one is the hypotenuse? That is the 5 over here. So over 5. As simple as that. Very simple and direct. Then the last one, that is the tangent of this same angle. And we say the tangent of an angle is given by what? Opposite. What value do we have at the opposite? That is our 4 over the what? Adjacent. What value do we have at the adjacent? Over 3. So here they are. Very, very simple and then straightforward, right? So this is one application of our trigonometric ratio. Let's look at one last one. That is time wouldn't permit, so I'll just do it in another video. But before doing it, let me just write one question you can try on your own. Then we solve more examples in our next video. So this here is the question you can try your hands on. It's actually similar to the one we just did, but you would have to pay attention. All right, pay attention. Using the diagram below, you have to find the sine and cos on, and also the tangent of this same angle. No, this time around it's not alpha, but then theta. So let me clean this and then put my angle there, theta. So you have to find the cos, the sine, and then the tangent of these angles. You see, this is your angle here. You should be able to identify which one is your opposite, which is your adjacent, and then which is your hypotenuse. All right. So I do hope you understand all that we've done. If this is your first time, this is How Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. If you've not subscribed, you can choose to subscribe. That is if you so do wish, and then you'll be able to receive notifications anytime I release a video. Thanks for watching, and then stay blessed. Bye.